How do you pick the winning numbers?
So when am I going to win the jackpot?
What's the numbers tonight?
What are the winning numbers?
You have heard that before, haven't you?
No, seriously.
Did you make the odds any better?
Why do you have big jackpots instead of smaller jackpots?
So when people buy tickets, what happens to this money?
D'où viennent les gros chèques géants?
Do they own all of the casinos?
Combien est-ce qu'ils font par année?
Curiosity, like how many people actually win the lottery?
Or simply where it goes to? I'd love to see that.
Where do you think you'd be today if you hadn't stopped gambling?
Dead. Boy, when I think back on my history of gambling, wow. And I mean, I used to go into a game sometimes and I might lose $15,000 in one session. How sick is that? The brain tells you what's okay. And unfortunately, when you're not thinking clearly and you're not well, the okays are not okay. This was my life for several years. I just said, I gotta stop gambling. This is not right. What I'm doing is not right. And I did. I took it as my responsibility to help other people. It must have took 10, 12 weeks before I got one person to come to a meeting, and eventually that group got to have 30, 40 people in it. There is no better help than to be with a bunch of peers who are also struggling for the same goals. And then you turn around and you help the government to provide the people with enough information so that they can make better decisions in their gaming and prevent ever getting to that point where they're just chasing after money. Because the minute you start feeding and chasing and feeding, you are no longer in control of your gambling. I had never had the urge to go back gambling. And I'm proud of the fact that I haven't gambled in over 20 years.
This is the best part of our story. 100% of our profits, every penny, goes back to the 4 provincial governments to benefit all Atlantic Canadians. That money funds roads, schools, and health care throughout Atlantic Canada. Since we opened our doors in 1976, we've returned more than $6.7 billion in profits to the people of Atlantic Canada. And we can't imagine any better way to spend them.
Mon nom, c'est Daniel Saint-Louis. Je suis photographe à Moncton, Nouveau-Brunswick. Ça fait la bonne majorité de ma vie que je reste à Moncton. J'adore la photo, puis j'adore partager mes expériences. C'est sûr que j'aime photographier le monde. La vie des autres. Au loto, au début, c'était intéressant parce que j'avais un peu peur aussi. Il y avait des gros gagnants. Puis, avant longtemps, je voyais que le monde était plus nerveux que moi quand il arrive au loto. Chaque personne est différente. Je voyais que je pouvais sortir l'expression qui était réelle puis qui était honnête. Je pense qu'il y a un type de personne qu'on apprécie plus. Tu vois que ça va leur vraiment faire du bien. C'est pas juste eux-mêmes. C'est le monde qui apprécie beaucoup pour les autres. Et souvent, c'est la même personne qui va continuer à aimer la vie qu'ils ont parce qu'ils apprécient où est-ce qu'ils sont dans leur vie. Je les aime beaucoup. C'est ça l'Atlantique pour moi. C'est une belle chose.
Well, where the lottery money goes, that's the number one question we get asked. 90 cents from every dollar spent on lottery products goes back to Atlantic Canadians. Some makes its way back to our retailers as commissions. Some of it goes to the provinces. A whole lot of it goes back to winners across Atlantic Canada. Our goal is to play an important role in building a strong Atlantic Canada. And giving back is just one piece of the puzzle for us.
I see enough numbers. At night, I don't want to think about numbers.
Well, in the early days, this used to all be done live on television. That the process today for drawing numbers is no different than it was when I started. So all the procedures that we've been doing, we've always done them. I've been with KPMG for 30 years. We're third-party auditors, and we are totally independent of Atlantic Lottery. We attend the draws every night, 365 days of the year, and we ensure that the draws are carried out in accordance with the rules and the regulations and the draw procedures. We still use ball machines. We still weigh the balls periodically and measure them to make sure that they're 100% accurate in terms of equal weight, equal size. You know, it may be interesting to know that those balls are kept in a safe. It takes 2 people to open the safe with independent numbers. Atlantic Lottery people can't get a hold of the balls without KPMG, and KPMG can't get the balls without ALC, and that way it does not allow one party to have any control over the draw. We also have the draws recorded, so it's all about fairness. The draw may show as a very simple process where, you know, people are drawing numbers out of a machine, but there's a lot of care that goes into ensuring that every part of that is working properly. And the reason you have such robust procedures is the game has integrity, and that's what it's all about.
Our story is about a place, Atlantic Canada.
And a company that exists.
To make this place we love
Even better.
We're Atlantic Lottery.
We're publicly owned by the 4 Atlantic provinces,
Which means we return 100% of our profits to Atlantic Canada.
and we ensure a safe and regulated gambling industry.
All across this region, lottery is our business.
but supporting public services
And offering safe and regulated gambling is our job.
Get to know us better.
At askaway.ca.
You're the one the same as last time, Jeff, painted up? Yeah.
Have you ever played the lottery?
Every week. Every week. I played numbers for a lot of years when I worked at the dockyard with the dockyard guys, and since I've retired from there, I'm just as lucky. There you go, Phil.
Really, the Maritimes is my home, and it's the place that I love. And really, that's what's important to me. So I want to know how people are going to be benefiting, not just me, but our future generations.
I'd like to actually see them put it on the website, the open book policy, like how much the profits were, and that's what I'd like to see. Just put it on your website, put it on your commercials.
Well, at least it's going back into the community. So.
Well, that's what I mean, right? Even if I'm losing money, you know, someone's winning. How I see it.
À l'Auto-Atlantique, nous recevons beaucoup de questions. Exemple, où va tout l'argent de la loterie? Pour chaque dollar dépensé en produits de loterie, 88 cents restent ici, sous forme de salaire, 12 cents aux détaillants, 34 cents à nos gagnants, et nos profits, la plus grosse partie, sont reversés au Canada Atlantique et financent des choses telles que des écoles, des routes et des hôpitaux. Chaque année, 100% de nos profits restent ici. Autre questions? Posez-nous toutes vos questions à demandez-nous.ca.
I originally became interested in horses as a young person when I was probably 10 years old.
I grew up with horses. I learned at a young age through my uncles, and then me and my father for the last few years have had partnerships with horses.
Passion is definitely an all-descriptive word for 99% of the participants within harness racing.
Yeah, it's a very passionate sport. I mean, a A lot of people don't make a ton of money at it. It's more of a sport that you enjoy and you're willing to put everything into it.
It's a very rewarding experience to work with horses. It's a lot. We're a very strong area of breeding and racing, so it has a significant economic impact on our province. Not to mention, it was a very strong part of our heritage. This facility has been in existence since 1888, so I do believe the math on that would be that next year we're 125 years. A number of people, like the Atlantic Lottery, had a vision to continue to make sure and sustain our industry here in Prince Edward Island of racing. And this was a totally new venture for the folks at Atlantic Lottery Corporation. It's been a wonderful evolution. You know, without their participation, I'm not exactly sure where we'd be today.
What most people don't know is that simple act of buying one little lottery ticket or playing one of our products has a huge impact in the Atlantic Canadian economy. When you put that ticket in your pocket, purse, or wallet, you benefit countless Atlantic Canadians and their communities. Consider the 680 lottery employees throughout Atlantic Canada that work, live here, and spend their salaries here. And on top of that, you've got the local lottery retailers who earn part of their income through the commissions on lottery sales. And of course, all of the other suppliers, from the technology companies to the delivery companies, that earn income from doing business with us. And on top of all that, there's the profit that we return to our 4 provincial shareholders, who in turn then spend that money back in their provinces, supporting even more businesses and the people that work in them. And if you add all that up, both directly and indirectly, our operations contribute more than 9,000 jobs and around $800 million in economic activity to the Atlantic Canadian economy, one little ticket at a time.